You want to know how to change your lighting from this to this? Stay tuned. Hello everyone, it's the FarmSim guy here. Hope you're all doing well. I have got something really impressive to show you today. I have been working over the last week, let's say, with a lovely chap I've met called Suchsneak, who has developed the absolutely fantastic Relight mod Farming Simulator 22. You've obviously had a little bit of a sneak peek there of it, but in essence what he's done is completely revolutionised the lighting for FarmSim 22. Now, it's something that I've talked about, and I think a few other people have talked about. One of the big differences we've seen between FS17, FS19 and FS22 is the lighting. And I know that a lot of people have found that the lighting for FS22 is a lot brighter, a lot more, dare I say it, a little bit more cartoony. Not in a bad way, nothing that I've not been able to live with, but there's something about it that doesn't feel as natural, as maybe, certainly I think FS17 had one of the best lighting systems that I've seen in the game. But Suchsneak has developed this. He's reworked all the Cuba maps for it, and he has spent countless hours working through XMLs to try and test it by trial and error, really, to make sure that he can get it as optimal as possible. And he has done a wonderful job with it, I have to say. So you saw at the very beginning of the video there that I just did a little sample test. This is the Holler by Sam Solo Mapping, which I did a video tour on earlier on this year. Really nice little map, but it runs with the base game lighting effects. So you can see what it looks like before, and you can see what it looks like after. Now, it's very difficult to do a very close side-by-side comparison, but what I'll try and do is jump back to the original lighting, and then we'll spend a lot of time looking at Suchsneak's developed lighting in Relight. So I'll identify the two by making sure that the logos are down in the corner so you know which one is which. But in essence, he has changed so much. If you look at the vividness of the shadows, the contrast between the two is a lot more vivid now. He's boosted the brightness of the sun a lot. I mean, we're sitting at the moment in October, so you start to get this kind of wintry or autumnal haze that runs on the fields, which you don't get in other months. And I will try and jump through some of the months and some of the different weather types so you can get a feel for it. Where it really comes to life, though, as you've just seen there, is the sunsets. The richness of the reds and the oranges as the sun sets is just stunning in the shadows that it casts. And also you want to see what it does to machinery as well. The lighting effects that it throws onto the machinery is something else as well. I have to say, I am blown away by this. Now, just to be clear, this is version 1 of this mod. It's only just been released, and in essence at the moment it's not a fully fledged mod, if you want to call it that, as such as you can drop it in your mod folder and select it and switch it on and it will work. That is Suchsneak's target, though. He's really keen to make it a mod that you can drop into your folder and turn on at a later point. So it is very much an early release, shall we say, and there's going to be a lot more development going into this. He's already talked to me a lot about basically in the future really pushing it, adding new clouds, you know, adding potentially different starry skies, adjusting the screen space and the ambient occlusion to create darker shadows under vehicles, and make sure that's all packaged and maybe run with, you know, being able to pull up a menu in the game and adjust things your way. It's an absolutely fantastic, brilliant idea, and the best thing about it is it has zero impact on the performance of the game because it's built into the map and uses, in essence, the code that's already in there from Giants, but just tweaked and finessed really in a really detailed way to really boost those colours and lift those shades out. It has zero impact on the game, you know, compared to something like Reshade, which is another program that you're layering over the top of FarmSim, and does have some real kind of drain on the resources and on the processing power of your GPU and your CPU to run it. This has none of those performance impacts, which is really, really good. So I'm waffling too much. Let's jump into it and have a look at what we've got. So again, like I said, what we're going to do here, we'll have a little bit of a play. We're going to utilize Easy Dev to make things easy for us. But what we'll do, let's pick something in the height of summer, shall we? So here we are. We are 5 o'clock in the morning on a lovely July morning. So we're going to speed the time up slightly. I'm going to bring up the HUD actually, just so you can see the time. Let's speed it up to 5 AM. Run it maybe 120, 240 times. And then maybe drop it down to 120. But look at those colours and the long shadows. Depth of the shadows is fantastic, and those colours are tremendous too. The haze in the background, just everything feels richer, everything feels stronger. It just feels more natural. I don't know about any of you, but certainly where I grew up, we had really rich red sunrises and sunsets in the morning. And if you compare that to what was in the original game, you'll see a vast difference. The light is a lot flatter, and there's a lot less variation in the colour. So it's really nice to see that differentiation as the sun rises in the sky. There we are, we're into the evening here. A little bit of rain has started now, but what I'll do, if I just skip forward again a little bit more, see a lot more contrast in the clouds as well here, but as the sun sets over there, get this lovely orange hue as the sun goes down as well, which is beautiful. And it just feels, like I said, it feels more natural. And obviously, when you're into the night as well, the nights are a little bit darker, in fact quite a lot darker. But for me, that's not a bad thing. Certainly where I grew up, there wasn't a lot of ambient light, so when you did get into night, it was pretty dark. Now when you've got other mods out there for tractor driving and things like that, the enhanced lighting mod that throws the light on the tractor a lot broader around the field, kind of compensates for the fact that it's gone very, very dark. Now I'll do a little bit of a demonstration on that in a little while as well, just so you can see it, but in principle everything feels a lot more natural and realistic. I've moved forward to September again because I want to show you also some of the different months have different kind of lighting shades as well. So here we go. It's an hour later. We were getting a lot lighter a lot sooner when we were in the middle of summer. But here we've got a richer, more red light. And actually we get this haze as the sun comes up. We'll pick up this more hazy sunlight, which kind of matches the colder, damper air that you'd get this time of year in the morning rather than the dryness of the summer, which is really nice. Something else that's worth looking at as well is now if you look at these shadows on the trees here, there's a lot more contrast between them when the sun is shining on the tops of them. But actually when we drop it into some rainy situations, let's do something like that, we really lose all of the reflective light on them as well, and it darkens them down a lot, and again just looks a lot more realistic. I know we're running at quite a fast speed here, but as you can see, that feels a lot more realistic, a lot darker, I think, which you would expect when the rain was coming down hard. So again, just the contrasts are a lot greater, a lot more different than you would see in the base game, which I really, really like. And here we've jumped to December. As you can see, the trees are without leaves, and there's a much colder light again. There's a lot more of a haze around it, and it just generally feels fresher and colder as well. I'm really impressed with how he's managed to kind of identify the differences in the seasons and pull those through to the game. It's really nicely done. Now another area that it really comes to life as well is the lighting on vehicles. I'm just going to rotate around this and you can see the different levels of contrast as you spin around the tractor. We're sitting, I think, about 10 or 11 in the morning on a winter's day here, and it really does set the vehicles off in a brilliant light. It's again much more stark, the lighting, than you would see on the base game lighting. And again, we'll do a little comparison here so you can see the difference between the two. But this is this feels a lot more, like I said, realistic, and stands out a lot more. So we are in a relatively kind of standard blue sky here with sunshine, but when you start to drop the colours down into something a little bit more early morning or dusk, it really starts to take off. Like I said before, the nice thing about this, or the beauty of this mod, is that it has zero impact on the performance of the game because it's all built into the map. This is just adjusting what's already in the game. Painstaking hours of adjustment, don't get me wrong, but it's just adjustments to what is already available. So the cube maps are obviously custom and they've been redesigned, and then the lighting adjustments in the XML have been done as well. But you can see the results. They are pretty outstanding, aren't they? Okay, so how do you install it? Well, let's just give you a quick demonstration. I'm going to start a new game here in easy mode, and we will let's take Nadenthal, shall we, as a map. I'm just going to hit the OK with all the mods, and we'll load this up, and we'll have a look at it before we've added Relight. So here we go. There we go. We're in Nadenthal, 8 AM on an August morning. As you can see, it is what it is. Now, what I think we'll do is we will set store deliveries, and let's buy ourselves a tractor so we can just do a light comparison. Let's just buy the T8, shall we? There we go, there's our T8. Let's have a look at the lighting around it. Get an idea for that. And then we'll come back when we've added Relight and look at the differences then. Now, first things first, there's our mod folder. What I'm going to do is copy this out of here. Now, what I will say as well is, and I have another backup here, make a copy of your map. If you mess this up and it doesn't work, at least you've got a copy to revert back to. So always back up before you start. That's the same if you're editing any mods ever. Definitely do your backup before you start so you've got something to rely on. I've also got Relight here as well. So let's extract both of these. Already had this one extracted, but there we go. Let's open it up and have a look at what's inside Relight. In essence, all you've got in Relight is this folder and a README file. So opening the README file, it basically said to install on any modded map, simply drop the folder called Relight directly into the modded map zip, so that the Relight is one of the first folders that appears when you open the mod map. Now what he means by that, in fact, is drop the Relight folder at root level. So let me extract the Nadenthal map. So let's open that up here. So even before you go into map CA or map or whatever it's called in the individual map mod that you're downloading, don't put it in any folders. Put it right at the top level. So the first folder that you open, drop Relight into there. So here's what we'll do. We'll just do it here. We'll copy that over. So Relight is in there with your map.ca. Now back to the README for a second. To enable Relight in the mod map, you must find a map XML. Sometimes this XML has a slightly different name, such as start map. But have a look around, make sure you find it. It's even giving you a little example here of what the start of that XML should look like. And you're in essence looking for one single line, which is environment file name here. And it will have some sort of root. Sometimes it points back to the base game environment files. Sometimes they've embedded environment files into the map. And what you want to do is change that to Relight/Relight.xml. So Relight being the folder that we've just copied into there. And within the Relight folder, there is an XML file. So it literally is a case of copying this. We'll do that now. And then going into the map. And we'll drill down to map.ca and we'll have a look in here and we see what we can find in terms of an XML called map. And there we are, we've got map.xml there. So we'll double click on that and we will look for that environment line. Now, if you are in Notepad++, an easy way of doing that is using the search function and find. And you'll be able to type in fact, I've done it there already. Look, I've just typed in env there. And you hit find next, and there you go, environment file name equals, and that's what we're looking for there, environment file name equals. So here, this is pointing back to another folder in the base game files actually. What we want to do is highlight that, delete it, make sure you leave the quote marks there. So in between the two quote marks, you just want to do paste, and as you can see, Relight/Relight.xml. Now I would suggest it's better to copy and paste it rather than retype it, because you might get some issues. Even things like capitalization or an extra space will stop this from working. So make sure copying and pasting is probably the best way to do it. So that is done. all we need to do now is save the map XML and zip the map back up. So there's our map folder, there's our map XML that we've just updated. You can see it's updated because the data's changed and it's different to others. You want to go back up to the top level of your map before you zip. Now, here's a tip for people if they've had any issues before when they've zipped things back up and they don't work when you put them back into game. Make sure you're not zipping up your main folder. So let me just close that for a second. If you zip up this folder, it will put another folder in the way of it. And it won't be able to find it in the game. So what you need to do is you need to go into this root level here again. And there's your map folders. And again, you can see Relight in there. This is where you want to zip things up from. So all you want to do is highlight these files. Now right click. I use WinRAR. So all I need to do here is add to archive. And I'll change it to a zip file. And there you can see FS22 nadenthal.zip. So it's exactly the same. You want to keep the file name the same as you did for the map you copied out of the folder if you can. So you zip that up and you see this zip file appears in here now. There's your original file. You've got your original map there. And this is the new version. So all you need to do now is drop this new version back into your mod folder and fire up the game again. So there we go, back into the game. We'll load this up. And we'll have a walk around our tractor and see the differences in the lighting. So there we go, back in the game, 8:13 in the morning. You can see the sun is a lot brighter there. Got some better reflections through the wheels here. Things just look a little bit more realistic. What we'll do as well, we'll set the time to an earlier morning or something like that, and you can see the richness of those colours as well. And there you go, 6 AM in the morning. Really nice. Just go around here again and look at reflections on the tractor, and the depth on the tractor, look at that. So nice, beautifully done. So there you go, that is Relight for you. Now Suchsneak has said to me that he is very, very close to having this ready for release. So it may be ready by the time the video releases. If it is, the link to it will be in the description below. If it's not, keep checking back because we are literally days away. It's not going to be long before it's out, and I will be sure to leave a little update in the community page, but also I will update the video accordingly when the link comes out. But for now, from me, I hope you like that. I am taken with this. I can see this being added to every single map that I play on because it really just does add to that ambience and that richness of the game. So a wonderful job. I'm really impressed with this. And again, keep an eye on what he's doing because I think we're going to see updates to this. I'm going to see developments and evolution of this mod as time goes on. So really nice first starting point for it, but I'm excited to see where he'll take it as well. So there you go from me for now. That was Relight for Farming Simulator 22 from Suchsneak, and I'm a big fan. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.